How to master luck. Now, most people think that success comes down to luck, right? Right place, right time, wrong background, wrong passport, wrong connections, therefore I'm just unlucky, can't do anything about it. But when you actually study success, that explanation falls apart pretty quickly. Now, there was a 10-year study by a geezer named Richard Wiseman, where he followed over 400 people who described themselves as either lucky or unlucky. Same intelligence, similar talent distribution, similar opportunities on paper, but the results of the two groups were vastly different. And it was found that the difference wasn't magic, it was behavioral, it was mastery. And in this video, we're going to learn how to master luck. And I'm going to break down the difference between luck and engineered outcomes. And I'm going to do it across 4 ideas. Now, the first idea. I can't find my whiteboard to wipe this off. I found it, don't worry. We're going into the new year. And in this new year, I don't want anybody to believe that they don't have control over their lives. That because they're unlucky, they're not in a position to change their lives. And I'm telling you, you're flipping out. That brings me on to the first topic. Pillar. Exposure versus probability. Let's start here. So, people talk about luck like it's some rare event that randomly hits a few chosen people, the chosen ones in society. But in reality, luck behaves more like maths. Let's take James Dyson. If you've not heard of James Dyson, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the Dyson Hoover. It's that 526 quid Hoover, $2,000 Hoover that no one can afford, but you want to have one day. Now, before the Dyson vacuum worked, he failed 5,126 times. 5,126 times. So I should solve this honestly. Was attempt number 5,127 lucky? Or was it likely a statistically inevitable response because he didn't give up? He removed failure from the system. And look, at some point, if you take enough shots, you're bound to land one. And most people don't want to hear that. They want one attempt to change their life. They want one video, one business, one post, one pitch. But engineers don't rely on single outcomes. They rely on volume. Luck looks like one event. Engineering looks like repetition. And most people quit way before probability has time to work. And that's why they feel unlucky. So, pillar 2. Also, probability only matters if you're playing the right game. Which brings us on quite nicely to our second idea. That'll do the job, that'll do the trick. All right, so on pillar 2, positioning versus skill. Positioning. If I spelled that wrong, I definitely spelled that wrong. Well, you know what I was trying to spell. Versus skill. I'm dyslexic, allow me, but I want to get into the video. This one upsets people because we were taught that if we just get better, things will likely work out. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. Skill matters, but positioning decides whether your skill ever gets noticed. A mediocre creator in the right place will outperform a brilliant one in the wrong place every single time. If you're early to YouTube, early to podcasting, early to newsletters, early to crypto, early to TikTok, the same pattern every time. People who are in the right place, unfortunately at the right time, people say that they were early winners because they were lucky. They weren't. They just placed themselves where attention was cheap and the upside was asymmetric. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Skill compounds after positioning, not before. If you're stuck grinding with no traction, the question usually isn't, how do I get better? It's, why am I playing here at all? Engineers ask different questions than hopeful people. Now, once you're positioned correctly, something else becomes unavoidable. And that's a big one. Feedback. Luck ignores feedback. Engineering obsesses over it. Engineers don't guess, they watch. They look at what works, what doesn't, and they adjust. Most people do the opposite. They treat every failure like a personal insult, so they pivot emotionally. They abandon things right before the signal becomes clear. And this is where that luck study matters again. Wiseman found that the so-called lucky people noticed opportunities other people didn't see. Not because they were smarter, but because they were paying attention. So they stayed in motion long enough to collect data, whereas most people quit before feedback even becomes useful. And then they're the ones to bloody shout and scream, say the system is rigged. So even with all of this, there is uno más more thing that determines whether any of it works. And this one, you're gonna absolutely hate. Time, horizon, and identity. Now, this is the part nobody wants, right? Because it's boring. And a lot of the time it's humbling. Trust me, I know. Look at my subscribers. Engineered success assumes time. Along timelines dissolve luck. If you expect results in weeks, days, or sometimes even months, everything feels random. If you expect results in years, patterns become obvious. This isn't about motivation, it's about identity. Engineers don't ask, will this work? They ask, how long am I willing to stay in the game? And that one decision removes most people from the competition. So, all this video is to say, when you zoom out far enough, success stops looking random. Because luck isn't fake, but it is overrated. Most of what we call luck is just someone who took more shots, chose better positioning, paid attention to feedback, and stayed long enough for probability to do this job. So if you're waiting to feel lucky, you're gonna wait forever. If you start engineering outcomes, luck becomes irrelevant. So stop waiting on the best situations and just take them shots. If you take another of them, you're bound to score. Peace.